I stopped training like a bodybuilder a long time ago. Like the style of training, even the culture, everything about bodybuilding is just not for me. All the isolation movements, the bro splits, like not only is that shit boring to me, but it doesn't produce the result that I'm actually trying to get with my fitness. I'm not a bodybuilder. That's just what it is. Now, look, if you are a bodybuilder, if you're into growing individual muscles and the way you look and the posing and the flexing and all that, if that's your vibe, cool. This video is not for you. This video right here is for anybody who's tired of that shit. Either having done it and you're like, I'm over it, or you just want to try something new, or you want to push yourself and challenge yourself. This is for you. Now, before I jump into this video, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, scroll through my channel. If you see something that you like, watch the video, drop a like, drop a comment, drop a like and a comment on this video. I just like to explore the alternative perspectives and different ways of training, different ways of reducing body fat, getting stronger, and just getting in the best physical and mental shape of your life. Now, look, I started just like most people getting into what you would call bodybuilding. And, Arnold Schwarzenegger started the whole thing with the pumping iron, and everybody wanted to get the big biceps and your triceps and your lats and all of that shit. But as I matured, both as a human being, but also as a fitness professional, my taste has matured. My perspective on fitness has matured. It has evolved. And so where I stand now, I don't care for bodybuilding. I don't like the culture. I'm not into I don't do any steroids. I'm 100% natural, but I'm also not chasing an aesthetic. I'm not trying to look a particular way. I understand that by performing and putting the emphasis on performance, I'm going to get an aesthetic. And the aesthetic that I get from athletic performance is so much more of what I'm looking for than size and weird definition. But yeah, like when I first got into fitness, it was literally all about how do you get bigger biceps, how do you get bigger shoulders, bigger chest. I personally got into fitness because I thought I was going to do like 20 to 30 years in the pen. So I was like, man, let me just prepare myself in case I gotta, hold it down. I ain't gonna be nobody's bitch in the pen. But then it became a passion. It became something that I really geek out about. And so that's how it started off, and my first fitness gig, I was just like most people and like people are now. We used to clown CrossFit people, and that's where it started for me. See, I did hybrid before it was called hybrid. And that's how it started, was with the CrossFit. We were clowning the CrossFit people. And I remember one CrossFit dude came and he was like, you can't do what I do. I said, say what? He said, bet. So I took a couple of CrossFit classes and it whooped my ass. And it was at that point that I decided, like, okay, I'm not going to let there be anything that's going to whoop my ass like that. And that's how this hybrid grind kind of started, was just like, okay, there's multiple modalities in fitness. We know this. There's hypertrophy training and bodybuilding. There's strength training. There's powerlifting. There's CrossFit. There's calisthenics and bodyweight training. Look, the list goes on. And I'm a firm believer that none of these modalities are better than the other. It's just a matter of preference. What do you like to do? And so as I evolved as a human being, as I matured, I started to see that I like to do it all. I don't like there to be a weakness in my game. So after getting into CrossFit, I actually started coaching CrossFit. And the thing that I really enjoyed about CrossFit was the incorporation of the Olympic lift. I think Olympic lifts are such a valuable tool to have in your arsenal because of that explosive strength and then stability that you have to put into play that you just don't get with bodybuilding, especially when you're sitting on machines doing pec flies where the rest of your body is resting. You need to be incorporating movements that use your entire body and that encourage core stability. And so that's how I started to build my programming. I built everything on the foundation of the 4 abilities. That's stability, agility, mobility, and flexibility. And so incorporating these CrossFit movements, they forced me to get more mobility. I had to get more mobility in my hips. I had to get more flexibility. I had to be able to get into a deep squat or I was going to get hurt. And that's one of the things I don't like about CrossFit is that the amount of volume causes you to compromise your form. And so I'm all about form, but we can borrow some of these things from CrossFit. Now, as I mentioned with the 4 abilities, this is where calisthenics comes into play. See, I don't believe you should get under a squat rack or you should do any weighted movements until you can control your own body weight through a full range of motion. And so we take that a step further, right? And we start to add a little bit of resistance to that. So in addition to making yourself stable, in addition to having the flexibility and mobility, right now we're able to manipulate our body weight through a full range of motion. So this is why you see me doing dips, weighted dips, pull-ups, weighted pull-ups, squats, lunges. These are essential movements. These are essential movements for your life. And so now that we've created kind of this continuum, it kind of flows into something that I have coined functional strength training. Functional strength training is a method of strength training that translates to real life shit. So it's movements that incorporate your core, that move your upper and lower body at the same time, nothing done in isolation. Now, in order to incorporate the strength and the power, everything in the strength training portion of my programming is built around the 8 foundational movements. I'm going to put a link to the video right here, the only 8 movements you really need to get strong and powerful and jacked. And so building my training around these movements has allowed me to build power and strength. And because I'm working on mobility and stability, it's not at the expense of flexibility, hip mobility, and things like that. So I'm not experiencing the same kind of lower back pain, knee pain, shoulder pain that I was when I was strictly focusing on bodybuilding. So as you can see, it creates this well-rounded method of programming that turns your body into a weapon. But the piece that was missing is the cardio. Now, this holds true now as much as it did when I was just strictly bodybuilding. I hate cardio. I don't like running. And remember what I said before, I don't like there to be a weakness in my game. Now, the goal here is to increase stamina and endurance. So not only am I trying to maintain my breathing, but I want to make sure that I can maintain a particular pace for an extended amount of time. Now I'm coupling that with sprints, large bursts of speed, and now the goal is to balance that against the strength training, against everything else that we're doing to create the mobility, the stability, and the flexibility. So now we're dabbling in different modalities, and I've heard it said when it comes to hybrid athletes that because we do so many different things that we're not great at all of them. That's not the fucking goal. I don't need to be the best at Olympic lifts. I don't need to be the best at calisthenics. The goal is to get better and better each time. Now, in theory, one takes away from the other. So this is why we continue to challenge ourselves. This is why we continue to push ourselves. Can I maintain strength while continuing to build my stamina endurance with my running, while continuing to move through progressions in calisthenics? And that's where the fun comes in, because I am a performance athlete. I am not a bodybuilder. And the beauty of all of this is the harder I train in each of these modalities, the better my physique looks. But this is a raw strength. And at 41, I can toot my own horn and say I'm in phenomenal shape because I've challenged myself. I challenged myself not only to build functional strength, but I'm also challenging myself to remain mobile in my hips and my shoulders so that I don't get stiff, so that I don't injure myself. I also challenged myself with Olympic lifts and plyometrics, core stability and rotation. Literally all of this gets rolled into programming. And the beauty of it is, although it sounds like a lot, it's still not a huge commitment time-wise. Like I'm looking at really 3 to 5 days, depending on how much I want to commit per week. And that's not including the running. Running is different. The running is a beast in and of itself that we're conquering and that we're continuing to build on every day. And it's a mental thing as well of like, okay, I hate running. I don't feel like running today. Let's lace them up and go. Now, if you stuck around to this part of the video and this sounds intriguing to you, this is something that you want to incorporate into your training, this is the place to do it. The Hybrid Grind is actually a program that's put together for you. It's a program that incorporates and builds on the foundation of stability, mobility, flexibility, and agility. It progresses you into functional strength training. It's not this long laundry list of movements. It's powerful movements that translate to real life. And then to test what you're made of, we throw in the calisthenics, we throw in the plyometrics, we throw in the Olympic lifts. They all are there to complement one another, and then we cap everything off with your long distance running and sprints. If this is something that you want to incorporate and you want to change the way that you're training, get away from all that bodybuilding shit and actually become a performance athlete, check the description down there. It'll tell you everything that you need to know, how you can apply for one-on-one coaching and all the programs that are available. As I mentioned before, if you dig this kind of content, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, share this with somebody. We're building a community that's done with all the bodybuilder shit, that's done with the posing and the flexing. We are creating athletes. And the beautiful part of it is, it doesn't matter if you're 25, it doesn't matter if you're 55. If you do this properly, you'll be able to do it for the rest of your life. You'll create phenomenal results, you'll feel amazing, and you'll look amazing. Now YouTube is about to suggest a video for you right here that you're probably going to be interested in. Click on that. Let's keep this ball rolling. And as usual, I want you to keep your eyes on the vision and your mind on the grind. Let's go.